So what makes America so great? Is it our location? Is it our Constitution? Well, actually, no. The real reason America is so unique and so great is because we are a melting pot of many different cultures coming together living side by side. In America, you get one of the greatest experiences of having so many people of different walks of life, religions, and creeds, all coming under the American banner. But there's a problem with this. America seems to have forgotten that it's our differences that make us so unique and so great. Currently, there is a humanitarian crisis and a social economic crisis happening at our border that is impoverishing our greatness. I'm pretty sure you all have heard of the border crisis, or at least know a little bit about it. And if you don't, I advise you to pick up a news article at least one day in your life. But before we go into depth of the border crisis and how it has progressed through the past about 10, 12 years, I think it's important that I explain to you a little bit about what is going on. So the first thing that is important is to understand why so many people, especially south of our border, are trying to find refuge within the U.S. Now, this can deal with a lot of different things. An article by Nowhere.com describes them as push factors. Now, these factors can be violence, economic issues, natural disasters, so many different things to play into why there would be such a mass migration of people coming from all over, especially south of the border. Now, it's important to realize, for example, Haiti. Haiti has been hit with hurricanes, earthquakes, just natural disaster after natural disaster, leaving multiple people, millions, if not billions, displaced and with nowhere to go. And while these natural disasters are going on, at the same time, Haiti's president just recently got assassinated, leaving the political spirit of that country in total disarray. We have to understand that most, if not all, immigrants are coming to our borders seeking a better life. Now let's talk about how America has handled this issue. America has implemented different policies throughout the years, just like any country. According to Boundless.com, though, America has a serious problem. To just apply for application into our country, it costs $725. Now, I know for you guys private students, this might not seem a lot to us. However, you have to think of the reason people are coming. People are literally fleeing their countries with nothing but the clothes on their back. There is no way they just have an extra $725 laying around. These $725 are also non-refundable, regardless of acceptance or rejection from the United States. This has created another problem, the rich versus the poor, another social economic issue that we've seen countless times from multiple countries in multiple different areas of life. What this $725 does is basically give rich people access while punishing the poor. Rich people now have an easier time getting into our country, being accepted, being passed as American citizens, while normal people who come just to save their own lives or their family's lives are now being sent back to their countries, which can ultimately be signing their death warrants. A researcher by Coleman goes on to state that the fight for immigration rights started around 1965, but did not enter the forefront of the elections and the public sphere until around the 2016 election. Pretty sure you all remember that election, Hillary Clinton versus Trump, where Trump basically kind of criminalized immigration. He went on to build cages. He went on to change public policy to crack down on immigration. And He went on to use privatized prisons as detention facilities for these people. Now this leads to a whole other problem that we have. Most of the prisons used as detention facilities are privately owned. So what this means is that these prisons make money either based off inmate capacity or contracts. According to the GO group, there is the privatized prison of the GO made $450 million just last year from government contracts with ICE. They are literally being paid to criminalize and treat immigrants as convicted felons. It is important to realize these are just people looking for a better way of life. Another huge impact that Trump has had is his rhetoric. While he was in office, he went on to say he wants to build a wall, which created a very divisive mind in our government. He went on to call a lot of Mexicans rapists and murderers, which created an even bigger divide. And now, the wall, as you can see, was almost completed, making America split off from Mexico. We started to see immigrants as not as people, but as villains. We started to blame them for all of our problems, instead of looking at our differences. We went from a country accepting differences to rejecting them. Now I want to talk about our new president, Biden. He was called to basically fix the immigration policies, which have been way overdue. He stated that his mission was to create a border process that was humane and educational and fair. But a post by the Washington Post states that Biden's administration in this short time has processed over 12,000 applicants, many of whom were rejected by the earlier administration. According to a researcher by Melissa, Biden still has some problems, however. He supports what we call his Title 42. Now what this does is it allows the federal government to reject an applicant who made it all the way through the process based on an outdated medical research. This medical research has not been reviewed since 1965. It is way outdated and now gives the government free reign to get rid of anyone who is not a complete citizen, no matter their application status, no matter their visa. Now, when I think of immigration, there's something I always think about, the Statue of Liberty. This momentous monument shows us what America can be. I think it's best described by Nora.com as they describe it as a beacon of hope for immigration, a beacon of change, and a beacon for a better future. When people look at this statue, they see that the world can truly change. But if America is to uphold that, and America, if this is supposed to represent America, then we must start changing as well. Now, I'm going to tell you a little personal story. So my grandmother immigrated from Panama. She came here by herself, had to leave her sisters, her brothers, all behind for a better life. And now when I think about this, I think about what if the policies had been as strict as they are now? My grandmother would not have made it through the process. She did not have money. She did not come from a rich household. She came here by herself, just looking for work. Right now, if she were to make that same application process, she would be rejected. And I would simply just not be here. This is the reality for so many families. I think as Americans, we tend to forget something very important. We all started off as immigrants. We all started off from people coming from different countries coming here to just join together and be Americans, to respect our differences and live together. If America wants to continue the notion of being the greatest country in the world, it is time that we start accepting more people and their differences. Because we have been falling short on this for so many years. Now, you all know who this is. Thomas Jefferson, one of our founding fathers. He stated in his Declaration of Independence that we all deserve life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And these are unalienable rights given to us by our Creator. If we want to continue to live by this declaration, it is time that we change our immigration policy and give people a fair shot at asylum and stop treating people such as villains. We are all people just looking to make the best out of the world we live in. Thank you.
This one's still running. 10:55 is the time. So that's about 45 seconds over. So that's